Uh, but one of the things that helped me a lot was I was struggling. I guess I was just about 30 at the time, or a little over 30. And I was having some struggles in my personal life. And Sifu, took me through a couple of exercises where you learn to start to apply your posting inside of yourself. Okay. And that was a big, huge help for me. Now, I he used to call it the stage of life posting. There's a Buddhist posting called the Wheel of Life. I haven't done that one with you all, but we're going to go through the stage of life that I usually when I use the word the 5,000 foot view. That's what I'm usually referring to. Is it was a way to teach me, well, not teach me, you know, has any of y'all, if you've ever been told, hey, you're just too involved in this, you're too connected to it, right? Huh? You're too attached. Okay. Or, or something that was unpleasant happened to you. And and you're still blaming them, right? My dad had died and I was still blaming him for 2 years after the fact. And they'll, well, you need to get past it. Well, that's all fucking well and good to say, but does anybody got a recipe book? No, here I'd gone 14, almost 10 years. Nobody had helped me. I mean, they tried, but pray more, disconnect more. Give me something. Well, Sifu Chin did, and the stage of life was that process. So what we'll do is a little mind work, and and then I'll walk you through it, and then you can find a way to, what did you say you call it? Theater meditation. The theater meditation, right? All right. So all right. So Bruce, are you with us? I got you. Okay, yep, good. All right. So I'm gonna turn so y'all can hear my voice. Bruce is I and in all seriousness, I was talking with Ryan earlier. I can't even remember the last time I taught this. So I'm guessing, and he said he's never heard me teach it in class. Have you? Okay. So it's been probably too long, and I feel bad about that, but you know, here we are. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a few breaths. Let's just take a deep breath. Exhale. Let it come down. Let's do two more, just so I can kind of cleanse out my mouth from all that profanity. One more time. First thing we'll do is we're just going to settle and take a few breaths. I know y'all have already done some of y'all's posting. I've done some, but we're going to just take some time. Breathe a little bit. Check your body, your balance. The Buddhists will often say that, we want to try to live in the present moment. Let go of the past. Don't worry about the future. And those simple instructions are fine, but letting go is usually an unraveling of emotions, not just a cognitive exercise. And it doesn't matter what it is. When we become emotionally attached to something, we tend to cling. And since we're working mostly on our heart and mind, it's perfectly fine to stay in the resting position so that you don't tax yourself physically too much. Okay. Later on, you can add the postures that you want, still do the exercise. You can probably use your index of your experiences to find something that perhaps caused you hardship, trauma, difficulties, transgressions, all these sorts of words. And most of the time, most folks don't remember the lesson, they relive the experience. They carry around the blame. Like I said, even after my father was gone for 2 years, some of the things that he did, I was still quite upset about. And Sifu said, well, sometimes you have to put the experiences on the stage of life. And so, like if you're setting in a coliseum or a theater, like Ryan visualizes it, and you see the drapes pulled back like at a high school play, you're in the very back row of the theater. And the characters are playing out the experience that you've been carrying around. Like you're watching a movie or a play. Now, if it brings you too much emotion to see the real characters up there, yourself and whoever that may have been that was involved in it, then change the characters. Let somebody else play the parts. Sifu would always encourage us to use the Looney Tunes. Let Daffy Duck and Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny and watch them play out. You're not trying to change anything or justify things or forgive things. You're just trying to be able to watch what happened from a distance. And as you get more comfortable, you move closer to the stage. Maybe you're halfway or three quarters to where you can see the details of the characters' faces. If that becomes too much, move yourself back to the rear of the theater. The most important thing, though, is that you're not on the stage. You're just watching the scenes. The actors play it out. Go ahead and take in a breath. As you exhale, just stand up. We're not doing a heavy set of posting. The reason I said it was intense the other day in the group was because it can trigger a lot of different feelings or thoughts. Okay. Uh, so you can take a transgression and walk through it to where you can watch it. And even if you're in the front row, you're still not on the stage. Okay. And some of that can be a real exercise. Once you work through some of that, you'll see that the stage of life tool can be used in a number of different areas. For me, I was able to use it. The first place I had to use it with Dad to overcome myself always reliving the experience to where I could actually just watch it. And then later, I was able to use the same tool when I wish I would have done something differently. So my grandmother had passed away, and my mom called me and said, and I love my grandmother. I was with her, all the time. And when I got that phone call, I was just crushed because I had not spoken to her in 2 weeks. And then she just ups and dies. No, I wasn't expecting it. I was just at UNC Wilmington at the time, but I putting that up on the stage of life so I could rewatch it and try not to beat myself up so bad about it. Okay. That took some practice. And then later I was able to use it as a what if scenario, right? Yeah, I would like to handle this gracefully, right? So if I was handling cancer, if I was handling my own issues, even like with my knee, can I handle the problem gracefully? Can I see an actor handle it gracefully? How would he do it if he was handling the problem gracefully? That is the word I use. You choose whatever works for you, right? With poise and dignity is another one, right? So, you can use that stage of life exercise and you can choose. But for me, it just always reminds me from time to time when I feel like I'm getting so involved in something is to pull back to the 5,000-foot view so that I'm not so in the weeds of it all, right? So I can see what's going on. For those of you who know the three problems, that have existed since mankind, and you know that there's one solution for each one of the problems, right? That exercise is the key to understanding how to get through the entanglement problems. Okay, which is the hardest problem, but it's the simplest problem, right? It's the simplest because the harder you try, the worse it gets. That's an entanglement. The only solution is to distance yourself from it so that you can observe what's happening. That is like what I was talking about. This is not a complicated set of mechanics. Get your ass out of there, over here, right? But no, I'm letting go, right? So from here, use that as much as you want. Like I said, I can't remember the last time I taught that exercise, but it has been a tremendous tool for me. I know Ryan's used it just as well in a lot of different ways. So that's the sort of thing I would go home and write notes about. Okay, so that you understand what it meant to you. And what I want to do is finish up with a little Shi Li work because we haven't done that in a while. At least I haven't. No, okay. Maybe that's why I feel like I got left out, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to work on the Shew the Sheep and pulling everything back and looking at the timing. I'm going to turn to the side, or Ryan, I tell you, you turn to the side, not all the way around. Turn, yeah, there you go. So that everything comes back together, out together. Slow it down if you can to a place to where there's basically no momentum to it. You are moving through the frames. As you're practicing this, continue practicing. What I'm looking for from you is a quiet mind. This technique is not too complicated. So your mind, your forehead should feel smooth, ideally. There you go. Good. Come this way, Ryan. Okay, go ahead. Do a couple more. And as you're moving, I'm looking for the consistency so that as Ryan moves forward, his forehead and his abdomen taking back. When he comes back, the back of his head and his lower back pulling back. So he's moving as one unit. Okay. And he's coming back as a one unit. And ideally, all of that finishes together. You finish out here together. When you come back, everything circles around and they finish together. Kathy and Karen, this is what I was talking with you all about earlier about the timing and intention, the smoothness. You're doing fine, Bob. What I'm going to do is adjust your technique. I tell you what, let's do the other side, and then I'll adjust it on this side. Okay. Go ahead. Get in a few reps. That's good, Karen. Good. Notice that when Ryan gets out here, once he's up here, the next part of this is his hands will open and spread. See how the little finger now is above the thumb? So now that when it comes back, it circles back and it opens this way. And when it comes out, it's up and out from the belly button to the nose, then turn. I used to think of this as the soap suds when I was a kid getting in the Iron Claw tub. You remember those old Iron Club? Man, those things were like, you could survive a nuclear holocaust on one of those old iron. The darn thing weighed 800 pounds. But anyway, my brother and I would get the suds up so, you know, you remember the bubble bath thing and sit there. And I remember spreading the bubbles out, right? And think about how, and the reason I remind of how gentle that is, how much strength I need to spread out those bubble bath, right? Good. Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, from here, up and out, turn. Now, as you sit back, spread and then regather to here. Okay. When you come out, come on up. Now, that was all this and this. Better. Now, turn your palms. Don't pull back yet. Just turn your palms. Now, sit back. My hands are here. So, here, let me do you. Okay. Touch my hands. Touch my hands. There you go. Mm. Good. Mm. Okay, let's take a little break. All right. Any comments or questions? That's kind of like on, isn't it? Right. That's one of the things that reminds me of it. So, because it's not so complicated, but you got to get to the place where you feel the whole body is participating at one time. Out together, in together. Okay. It's the antithesis of on. Got you. Well, I wondered when I first looked over at Bobby, he looked like cat scratching tree. I was like, okay, what is it that he's doing? And I could see your mind working. Your hands were out and you're scratching down. I'm like, okay, I got to get over there and fix that. All right. But that's what you're trying to do. Okay.